What's going on, you guys? Josh here, also known as Harry Tornado, and in today's video, I'm going to be answering 5 questions I always get asked about selling on eBay. If this is your first time to my channel, again, my name is Josh. I'm a full-time reseller slash YouTube content creator based out of South Carolina. And this just means that I buy things at thrift stores and yard sales and sell them on online platforms like eBay and Amazon. And I make videos about it. If you guys enjoy content like this about reselling and making money on eBay, go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And be sure to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any uploads. The first question is, do you need a store to sell on eBay? The simple answer to this question is no, you don't need a store to sell on eBay. Anybody can sell pretty much anything they want on eBay without a store. You just have to pay listing fees, which is usually about 35 cents per listing. There are 5 different eBay stores you can choose from: Starter, Basic, Premium, Anchor, and Enterprise. Each of these stores have different prices and benefits that come along with them, so you really just need to sit down and do some simple math and figure out which store would save you the most money. For example, if you wanted to list 250 items per month on eBay, you'd be paying about $70 in insertion fees for those 250 listings. So it would pretty much make financial sense for you to bump up to that premium eBay store, which is about $50 per month, because then you wouldn't have to pay any insertion fees for up to 1,000 listings. Again, each store has a different price and different benefits, so you just need to take a look at each store and do some math and see which one is right for you and your business. I'll leave a link in the description of this video to eBay's website where it'll show you each store available for purchase, how much each store costs, and the benefits associated with each store. Question number 2 is, how do you check sold comps on eBay? So I'm just going to scoot you guys over a little bit. I'm going to put up my phone screen recording here, and I'm going to show you exactly how to check sold comps on eBay. So there are basically 2 ways to look up an item on eBay. The first and the easiest, in my opinion, is to find something with a barcode. This can of hairspray has one right back here. So what I'm going to do is go to my phone screen here. We're going to open up the eBay app, and we're going to hit the little magnifying glass thing to pull up the search bar. You can type in the item here if it doesn't have a barcode, but if you hit the little camera button and then scan a barcode at the very bottom. Also, I'm on an Android phone, so it might look a little different if you're on an iPhone, but it should still be there. It'll pull up a little green box like this, and then you just put the barcode inside the green box. And you can see the listings come up here. There's 2-pack for $34.99 free shipping. There's my listing down here. There's a lot of 2 for $37 free shipping, which is probably why I haven't sold any in a week or so. I need to drop that price a little bit to at least match the lowest price. But what you can do is you want to go to filter up here, and you want to turn on only sold items, and then click done. And this is going to give you only the hairspray that's sold. I could take a picture of this hairspray right now and list it on eBay for $100. And you'll see that if you scan that barcode, you'll see a listing for $100, but that doesn't mean somebody's going to pay $100 for it. That's why when you're looking for sold comps, it's very, very important to actually filter the results to show only the sold versions of that item. That'll just give you a more concrete idea of the actual market value of the item rather than what somebody just decided to list it at on eBay. A lot of times if you go to fancy yard sales, people will have eBay printouts of that item that they search for on eBay, but it's not sold comps, it's just listings. So really they could take a picture of their item listed on eBay for $100, then print out that page from eBay and tape it and say, oh look, this is worth $100 on eBay, but it's not, because nobody's gonna pay $100 for your dumb coffee mug, Karen. Another cool way to check sold comps on just a category of items rather than just a specific item, you wanna go back to the search bar up here, and let's search for just a random, category of items. Let's say waffle makers. So we search waffle makers, you can see, just some dumb, looks like Chinese ones coming up, all that stuff. So you don't really wanna look at this stuff. You wanna go back to filter. You want to turn on sold items only. And also, if you're thrifting and garage selling, you're most likely going to find used waffle makers. So in this scenario, we're just learning what brands sell best. So we turn on sold comps. We're also going to go to item condition and only search for used. You can see there's been 1,708 used waffle makers sold in the last, I think, 60 days. I think this goes back 60 days. You can also go a step further and sort the results from highest price down to lowest price. You can see this will give you like some crazy ones, like I don't know, whatever that is. Churro maker for $3,900. I'd like to scroll down a little bit until you get to the $100 to $150 waffle makers, and then you can see some really good brands popping up. We've got a Waring Pro. You can see Waring is a great brand. I mean, there's one Waring, all sold for over $100. So you know now, by watching this video, if you ever see a Waring or Waring waffle maker, however you pronounce it, at a yard sale or a thrift store for anything less than probably 30 bucks, I'd probably go ahead and pick that up. Question number 3 is, how do you decide whether to put free shipping on your items or charge the buyer shipping? This is kind of your own personal preference, however you choose to run your business. People like Rally Roots do mostly free shipping on every item. Some items cost them more to ship, some cost them less, and they just kind of factor this into the cost of doing business. They've done some research and they found that offering free shipping on their items tends to give them a boost in search results, so they think that, sometimes paying a little extra to ship an item helps their store out overall. Me personally, I do calculated shipping on the majority of my items. I'd say over 90% of my items are calculated shipping. The only items I do offer free shipping on are items that would cost the same amount no matter who buys it. So like generally items that are going to go first class, like shirts, I'll throw free shipping on those sometimes to give them a boost in search results, because I know even if somebody in Hawaii buys it, it's probably going to cost $5 or $6. That's the most it's going to cost. So I just factor that into the cost of the shirt. The same goes for things that go into a padded flat rate envelope. I know that no matter who buys that anywhere in the country, it's going to cost me $7.33 to ship it out. So I'll go ahead and put free shipping on that sometimes and just add an extra $7.33 into the cost of the item. Anything larger than that does not fit in a flat rate box that is just going to ship regular priority rate based on weight and distance, I always do calculated shipping on that, which is where you put in the dimensions and the weight of the item in the listing, and then whoever buys it, wherever they are, they pay the calculated shipping that it would cost me to ship that item. So I just pass the shipping costs on to the buyer. I make sure that I get the exact amount of money I want for my item and the buyer pays shipping. The reason I think this is important is because I've seen a lot of people have really heavy items. Say they've got a vintage tuner or receiver for a stereo system that weighs 15 pounds and they're selling it for $60 with free shipping. That would be okay if you sell it, I'm in South Carolina, say somebody in Georgia bought that. It might cost me $10 to ship it over there. But if somebody in Alaska buys it, it might cost me $75 to ship it there. You go from making 35 or $40 on that receiver to losing 15 just on the shipping. Now you can go into your eBay listings and exclude shipping to Alaska and Hawaii, which would knock those out of the way, but still going from the East Coast to the West Coast with a 15-pound item that VCR or tuner would be over 1 cubic foot. So it would probably cost $35, $40. So when there's such variation in how much shipping on an item could cost, like this item could cost $10 or it could cost $50. I'm never going to put free shipping on that item because I am not prepared in my business to take that much of a risk on one single item. Again, this is just an opinion. It's just what I do. It's not a one-size-fits-all situation. There are people making way more money than me on eBay that do free shipping. So they obviously know what they're doing. But for me personally, I just don't want to take that risk on one single item. If it's heavy, it's getting calculated shipping. Question number 4 is, how do you organize your inventory? How do you know where your items are when they sell? So if you're a reseller and you have more than like 50 listings or so, maybe even less than that, you probably need some sort of inventory storage system. Most resellers I know use some sort of clear plastic bins. I know Chris over at Daily Refinement uses cardboard boxes, which is fine as well. But the important thing is that each container has some sort of marking on the outside. I use the alphabet system. I know most resellers do as well. So I have bins labeled from A all the way through P, I think. So I haven't made it through the whole alphabet yet. Once you have a bin and it is labeled, say, let's just use bin A for an easy example. Anything you put in bin A, you can label in your eBay listing and put A on the eBay listing in the custom SKU field. Let's just go to the phone and show you this again. So this is just a Columbia men's PFG shirt I have listed currently. So if we go down to the item details, okay, this is where you put in the size and the color and the brand and everything. We're gonna go to edit. And if you go all the way down to the very, very bottom, after all this dumb stuff that nobody really puts in anymore, you go to the custom SKU field. This is custom SKU, and anything you type in this area will show up when the shirt sells. So if somebody were to buy this shirt, it would say, congratulations, your item sold for this price. Here's the buyer's address. Right underneath the address, this custom SKU will show up. So in here, I have it set to D23. This tells me that this shirt is in the D bin and it is inside the bag labeled 23. The way I do this is I just have a clear plastic bag and I use one of the 30 up address labels that I use for Amazon FBA, and I just write on there with a Sharpie, D23. I stick it on the outside of the bag and I put the bag in the bin. I don't know if it's necessary to label each individual shirt like that. You know, it can't be too hard to find a shirt in a bin as long as you know what bin it's in. But say you have a black t-shirt and it's folded up in a clear poly bag and there's 4 other black t-shirts in that same bin. You don't want to have to be confused and have to open up bags to see which exact black t-shirt it is. So I think going a step further and labeling with the letter and the number helps me avoid mistakes. I will say I use the bin system for hard goods as well. Like I'll have a bin and it'll have a radio and a baseball glove and some hairspray or whatever inside. And I don't use the specific number and letter SKU for those. For those, I just use the letter because it's much easier to look through a bin of hard goods trying to find the right item than it is to look through a bin of clothing. Also, I mentioned in the custom SKU field, you don't have to do just a code. Some things that I have in this back closet back here, I have a bunch of jackets back there. So on those listings in the custom SKU field, I just have office closet type there. So when it sells, it'll pop up office closet and I'll know I don't need to look through the bins for that item. I just need to look in this closet back here. So anything you type in that custom SKU field when you list your item will pop up on the screen when that item sells. So whatever you need to type in that field to tell you where to find your item is what you need to do. And the final question, number 5, is how do you ship large items like golf bags and baseball bats? So I actually have a whole video on my channel about how to ship golf bags without a box. It's kind of time consuming, but if you don't have a box and you need to ship a golf bag out immediately, I will put a link to that video up here on the little card thing. For baseball bats and the majority of golf clubs, I use the USPS free mailing tubes that you would get from the USPS website. To order these, you just need to go to the USPS website, start an account, look for shipping supplies, free shipping supplies, and you see the mailing tubes there. Again, they are free and they ship them directly to your house. I actually just ordered some last week and they came yesterday. This is what they look like. They come in a pack of 10 or something like that. I ordered 2 packs. You can kind of order however much you want, but this is what I use to ship. Again, pretty much every baseball bat I've ever had fits in one of these. I think these are 36 inches long. So this accommodates most golf clubs like putters and wedges, but golf clubs like drivers that are longer than 36 inches, you'd probably need to go to a golf store or sporting goods store and try to find boxes for those. After I thought about this, a better idea would be to tape 2 of these priority 2 boxes together to accommodate longer golf clubs. It would be much easier to do this than to go try and find a longer box elsewhere. With golf bags, if you have time, I would go to a U-Haul store, or I think you can order them on the U-Haul website. But U-Haul has this box called the Sport Utility Box. I believe it is $4.95, so it's kind of expensive for a box, but it fits every golf bag you could imagine perfectly. And honestly, it's much easier to ship a golf bag in a box rather than the method I talked about in my video. And the video is just, you basically just wrap it in saran wrap and trash bags, which is fine, but it's a lot more time consuming than just throw it in a box. With any other types of large items, there's not really a secret to it. You just need to find a box big enough to hold it. I know Lowe's and Home Depot have boxes you can buy there. They're usually, I think, like 79 cents all the way up to like $2 and something, depending on the thickness and size, but those are usually like a nice cubed box, like a 12 by 12 by 12 or 24 by 24 by 24, something like that. And those work well for a lot of items because even if the item doesn't take up the whole box and it just fits on the bottom, you can use a box resizer and cut the box down to get a nice fit on those items. So I usually go to Lowe's and pick up 15 or 20 of the medium shipping boxes. I think those are like $1.20 each or so. And anytime I have like a VCR or some vintage stereo equipment or something like that that I would need a big box for, those come in very, very handy. Also, when it comes to sourcing large items, you have to be picky on these. I'm not gonna buy a VCR for $5 that I can sell for $25 because I know that I'm gonna have to use one of my big boxes. So that's gonna cost me $1.20 just in the box. I'm gonna have to bubble wrap it a lot to protect the corners. So after you factor in the time and the shipping supplies that go into a large item like that, the profit isn't there. So if you find a huge item that you think you can make $50 on, you have to think about the time, effort, and supplies that would go into packing that item properly. This has cost me to pass on the majority of large items I find because I don't want to deal with them. So there you have it, guys. That is the first 5 questions that I get asked all the time about selling on eBay. Again, I'm going to make this kind of a series. Maybe every few weeks I'll answer 5 more questions. So if you guys do have questions about eBay that you have not been able to find the answer to through a Google or YouTube search, feel free to drop those in the comment section of this video, and maybe they will make it into the second installment of 5 more questions I get asked all the time about eBay. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you learned anything, be sure to hit the thumbs up button for me. It helps me out a ton. And again, if you aren't yet, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any uploads. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. You're the best, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.